Good afternoon, class. My name's Theodore Johnson, and me and Rachel Cum will do a presentation on track star Wilma Rudolph. Wilma went through a lot of ups and downs, but in the end, she came out on top. She ended up being the fastest woman in the world and broke a lot of records. This is her story. Wilma Rudolph was born June 23, 1940, in Bethlehem, Tennessee. She was born way too early, and she weighed a mere 4.5 pounds. Due to racial segregation, the hospital couldn't care for Wilma properly, so her mother had to care for her on her own. On top of it all, her family was very poor, so she had no financial support. Wilma was very sick and fought to stay alive. Shortly after Wilma was born, her family moved to Clarksville, Tennessee. Wilma had a big family. She had total 22 brothers and sisters. Wilma was the 20th. Her father, Ed Rudolph, had 11 kids from his first marriage and had more kids with Wilma's mother, Blanche Rudolph. Ed was a porter on railroad cars. Blanche was a housemaid. She worked 6 days a week, and while she was at work, the siblings helped care for Wilma. Growing up, Wilma had a lot of illnesses. First, it started off with scarlet fever, pneumonia, and then one day, at about 4 years old, her mother noticed her daughter was weak in her left leg. She then took Wilma to the hospital and found out that she had contracted polio. Polio is a contagious viral infection that can cause crippling and can be deadly or fatal. Growing up, Wilma's childhood was tough. Because of the polio, she had to wear a brace. This prevented her from playing sports or just in general running around with the other kids. Because of this, she was teased. Wilma's condition was so serious, her doctors didn't think she'd be able to walk right again. But this wasn't stopping Wilma. 5 years of treatment later, she stunned her doctors and walked by herself without her braces. This was a big turning point for Wilma. This was the start of her new life. For an additional 2 more years, Wilma wore an orthopedic shoe, only for support reasons. But by the time she hit 12, she was perfectly normal. Wilma's education started at the age of 7. She was originally tutored because she was crippled. Back then, being crippled and going to school didn't really work out. They didn't have the resources available for her to get around easily, like they do today. On top of it all, it was difficult going to school because blacks and whites attended separate schools. Wilma went along to junior high school. There she attended school with her brothers and sisters. Wilma's sister was on the basketball team. Wilma wanted to follow in her sister's footsteps, so she joined the team. At first, Wilma didn't get much playing time. The bench was her best friend, until she shocked her coach. Wilma ended up being really good. She was a big part of the team. She led the team to championships and set her own state records. During a basketball game, Wilma was noticed by Coach Ed Temple from the track team at Tennessee State University. Even though she played basketball, he noticed how fast she was running. From there, Wilma had a big opportunity. This opportunity changed her life, and it also changed her career. As a bonus, Wilma had already taken place in track. She did track during the off seasons of basketball to stay in shape.